When the Daily Mail, through Richard Eden, splashes out a headline declaring that Prince Harry, like Meghan Markle, has become a toxic brand, what they are truly confessing, though dressed up in venom and malice, is the depth of their fear. The British press has no courage to tell the truth plainly, so they lace it with poison, yet even their poison carries an admission. Meghan Sussex shook the monarchy to its core, and Harry's effect through the Invictus Games terrifies them in equal measure. Every syllable of Eden's so-called Palace Confidential drips with insecurity, not insight. It is not journalism, it is clickbait, manufactured gossip, posing as commentary. Eden is not a reporter, but a professional rumor-peddler, a man who strings together innuendo because the reality of Harry and Meghan's achievements is too bright for him to confront. Instead of applauding Invictus, an internationally celebrated platform of healing, rehabilitation and resilience, Eden seeks to smear its founder with the word toxic. But in trying to degrade Harry, he only shows that the institution is quaking at the global love Harry commands. Meghan Sussex, whom they dismissively weaponize by name, has already proven their hypocrisy. They call her toxic, yet her influence toppled the old machinery of royal silence. They call her difficult, yet she built businesses and humanitarian projects that thrive without a royal title. They call her a brand, yet her authenticity eclipses their staged pageantry. Meghan's existence unmasks their fragility, and Eden's recycled bile is nothing but a reluctant bow to her impact. If Harry were truly toxic, as Eden whines, the Invictus Games would have collapsed years ago. Instead, it grows stronger, embraced by veterans, families, world leaders, and nations across the globe. What Eden cannot stomach is that Invictus belongs not to palace courtiers or dusty monarchs, but to Harry's vision. A vision seeded in empathy, nurtured by purpose, and protected by Meghan's unwavering support. Eden cannot strangle this truth, so he settles for tabloid smears. But the people are not fools. They see Harry walking among injured veterans with dignity, while the courtiers hide behind gilded walls. They see Meghan shining with her own light, while palace propagandists attempt to douse her flame with gossip. They see Eden not as a journalist, but as a man paid to type what courtiers whisper in panic. Every sentence of his reveals not fact, but fear. Richard Eden's words betray the confession the palace dare not make aloud. Meghan Sussex has already rewritten the royal narrative, and Prince Harry's Invictus Games threaten to write a future where the monarchy is no longer centre stage. That is why they call it toxic. That is why they smear. But every insult is really an admission. Meghan effects tremble the monarchy, and Harry's global standing terrifies them more than their polished facades can hide. Harry is not a man chasing attention. He is a man who walked behind his mother's coffin at 12 years old, forced into silence while cameras preyed on his grief. That child grew into a man determined to make sure no one else would ever be stripped of dignity in the same way. The Invictus Games is not a brand. It is a living testimony to his mother's lessons of compassion, service, and empathy. Veterans who were told their lives were over found healing and honour on the tracks and fields of Invictus. Families who once drowned in despair found community and purpose in the stadiums, Harry filled with applause, not pity. And Meghan stood beside him, amplifying his work, her presence making clear that their partnership was never about pageantry, but about purpose. Eden cannot write that truth, so he scrapes the bottom of his imagination and spits out toxic. But the public sees the difference. They see that Meghan is vilified for the audacity of being brilliant, while Kate is praised for standing silently under umbrellas, even as her children are left soaked. They see that Harry's accomplishments are labelled threats, while William's absence is framed as preparation. They see the double standard, the cruelty, and the pettiness. What Eden calls journalism is really the scribbling of a courtier, desperate to make palace gossip seem like reporting. The Daily Mail thrives on fabrications and sensationalism, not truth. They profit from outrage clicks, and Eden is one of their many merchants. But clickbait has a shelf life, while Harry's work endures. Long after Eden's article is forgotten, Invictus will still be lifting lives. Long after the Mail's venom dries up, Meghan's as-ever brand will still be cultivating community, elegance, and generosity. Long after Richard Eden retires into obscurity, Harry and Meghan's children will carry forward a legacy of resilience and service. The tabloid's temporary noise cannot silence history's judgment. When Eden insists Harry is now a liability to Invictus, what he is really saying is that Harry's independence has cut the cord that once allowed the monarchy to dictate the narrative. Harry answers to no palace press office, no courtiers spinning his image, no grey men dictating his path. That freedom terrifies them. It terrifies Eden because it proves that one can leave the monarchy and still thrive, still inspire, still build a legacy. Meghan's very presence reinforces that message. She walked away, endured storms of abuse, and still commands headlines, brand loyalty, and respect across nations. That too terrifies Eden and his ilk, for it reveals the monarchy's crumbling relevance. Notice how Eden must pair Meghan and Harry together in his smear. He cannot mention Harry without dragging Meghan's name in, because he knows she is the trigger, the lightning rod, the reminder that the royal family could not control a woman of intellect, beauty, and independence. The smear is not accidental, it is deliberate, but even in its malice it shows an admission. Meghan and Harry remain inseparable in public consciousness, a unit of strength and defiance. The tabloids wish they could separate them, but the bond is unbreakable, and every attempt to diminish it only polishes it further. The idea that Harry must step down from Invictus is laughable, the kind of fantasy only a gossip peddler could sell. How does a man step down from something he built, nurtured, and made global? It would be like telling a mother she must resign from her child. Invictus exists because of Harry, and Invictus will always carry his imprint. To suggest otherwise is the desperate clatter of a typewriter that knows it has nothing else left to print. Eden can try to write Harry out, but history has already written him in ink too deep to erase. Harry and Meghan's existence has always been a mirror, and what terrifies the royal institution is not their actions, but what that mirror reflects. It reflects a monarchy frozen in time, obsessed with appearances, and reliant on silence. It reflects a family willing to feed its own to the wolves of the press to protect its golden heir. It reflects courtiers so fragile that they call love, service, and independence toxic. Eden's pen is not mighty, it is a shield for an institution afraid of its own reflection. The truth is simple. Meghan's effect was not to make Harry toxic, it was to make the monarchy tremble. Harry's effect through Invictus was not to tarnish, it was to illuminate a path forward where service is not bound by a crown. Together they showed that authenticity trumps artifice, that love defeats hierarchy, and that freedom humbles control. No wonder Eden is left muttering about toxicity. He is describing the monarchy's reaction to being exposed, not Harry and Meghan's reality. And so, in every line Eden writes, the truth escapes. He cannot stop it. He cannot frame Harry as weak without admitting Invictus is strong. He cannot smear Meghan as toxic without conceding that she disrupted the monarchy's stale narrative. He cannot diminish them without confessing their relevance. Richard Eden may call himself a journalist, but history will call him what he is, a clickbait maker, a gossip merchant, a man whose career was built on smearing people far greater than him. Meanwhile, history will call Harry and Meghan what they are, survivors, builders, leaders, and inspirations. The tabloids can gnash their teeth, but the world has already chosen whom to believe. Harry and Meghan are not the toxic ones. The toxicity lies in the monarchy that silenced, smeared, and scapegoated. The toxicity lies in the tabloids that lied, twisted, and profited. The toxicity lies in the voices like Richard Eden's, who mistake gossip for journalism. But Harry and Meghan, they are the cure to that toxicity. They are the antidote. And no matter how many articles Eden churns out, no matter how many headlines the Daily Mail splashes, the truth stands taller. Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry are untouchable in their dignity, unstoppable in their purpose, and undeniable in their impact. To all my curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, and put a comment. Bye-bye, see you in our next episode.